Hello everyone, this is Benjamin Soriano, your loan officer, your branch manager. Today I want to talk about conventional versus FHA. So there is a little difference. Some say it's big, some say it's little, just depending on your situation. So I want to explain a little bit about that. And to start off, one of the big difference that people talk about is in a conventional loan, the minimum requirement is 3%. On the FHA, it's 3.5. The conventional guidelines are a little stricter than FHA. So if you have good credit or a little bit better or excellent, the conventional financing would be a little bit better for you. And if you're under a 620 FICO, for example, because the minimum for a conventional is 620 and above. FHA could go under 620, as low as I've seen 580. Some will do less, but the requirements are going to be more. So when you get an FHA loan under that 620, the cost will be a little higher because the bigger the risk, the more expensive it is. When you are financing with a conventional loan, the PMI, private mortgage insurance, is less, so the payment would be lower with a conventional. And the FHA, the PMI is higher, so a lot of times the FHA is the FHA payment, the mortgage payment is going to be higher. When you are looking at applying for a conventional, if you're married and your spouse, either or, wants to apply, they're going to go by that applicant. So they're not going to tie in the other spouse income or debt. But when you use an FHA loan, the debt of the other spouse does affect what you qualify, regardless if they're going to apply with you. That's the big one for an FHA. So if you're married, your other spouse has a lot of debt, and you're trying to qualify on your own, they're going to ask to do a credit check on your spouse to see what bills they have, and they're going to review that to see what they qualify you. So it does affect your debt to income when qualifying married under FHA, even though you're the only applicant. And that's the tricky part of that, because a lot of people don't know that, or they're not explained that. So I want to make sure that you understand that, and we'll say it again. The conventional, if you're married and only one of you is applying, they're going to go by that one applicant. If you are applying for FHA and you're married, the debt from the other spouse will reflect on what you will qualify, even though if you're going to qualify on your own, because they go by the debt of the whole household. Okay, so that is very important when it comes to qualifying from a conventional versus a FHA. The other thing that is different is when you have an appraisal. The appraiser goes and appraises the home, but depending on the loan product, conventional or FHA, they're going to go by a different checklist because they have different requirements. A conventional loan has different requirements how a property should be versus an FHA, how the property should be. So when they go in, they're going to look at it, but the check box or how they review the loan, what needs to be looked at, what the guidelines are different. And the FHA guidelines are a little more strict when it comes to appraising the home. So these are the main differences of the two. They're just like I mentioned with the other conversation I had with other weekly helpful hints. There is a list, but I like to go with the basics, so that way you understand the difference. of the two when you first start thinking about choosing one or the other. There's always going to be some pros and cons regardless what you go. So the pros on the FHA, right? If your credit's not that okay, if you have lesser credit, if it's not good or excellent, the FHA is going to be your bet. Later in the future, once you have enough equity, you could always refinance and change it to a conventional, right? And get the lower payment. But in order to get your foot in the door, you need to know what's best for you and what makes sense for you at the time when purchasing a home. So I hope you have a great day, a great week, and we'll talk to you again.